Welcome to Sissy Fashion. In this video, you're going to learn how to make this beautiful piece over here. If that's what you're interested in, please kindly hit on the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell as we make this video together. To start with, I have my pattern paper ready. I'm going to mark 6 inches from here, also here, and I'll mark 6 inches here. The purpose of marking this 6 inches is just to have a straight line. So I'm going to draw a line of 6 inches across. So this 6 inches serves as my overlapping allowance, and that's what I'm going to use in creating the design. And I'll also mark 1 inch up here to have my start line. That's the shoulder line. The next thing is for me to mark my waistline, my chest line, and my hips line. So I'll start from my chest line 10 inches and my waistline 16 inches, then my hips line 25 inches. I'll do that on 2 points so as to have straight line. I'll go ahead and mark my full length and my hemming allowance. So this is my waist line. I've marked the hips line already. This is my chest line. So when I'm done marking, I'll go ahead and check shoulder measurement is 18, then half of it is going to be 9 inches. So I'm going to mark 9 inches from here. Notice that at this point, I'm adding half of an inch as my sewing allowance. I'll do that on 2 points. All my measurement starts from the 6 inches line that you have seen. So take note of that. When I'm done with the shoulder measurement, I'll go ahead and mark 2 inches from this point and 2 inches here. That is where I'm going to curve my armhole. I'm going to mark quarter of the chest measurement that I'm working with here, like so that as to know where to curve my armhole to. Then before I curve the armhole, I would mark the slant, shoulder slant, 2 inches from the shoulder point. Then on the neck point, I'm going to mark my neck width, that is 2.5. If your neck circumference measurement is 16 inches, I think 2.5 is okay. So I'll go ahead and connect it. Then I'll follow the procedure that I usually do in my senator or any other kaftan to mark this armhole, just like so. Okay, when I'm done cuffing the armhole, I will go ahead and extend my chest by 2 inches. Remember that I want the front panel to be far wider than the back panel. The back panel is just going to be smaller. So I'm going to extend my chest measurement by 2 inches after marking quarter of my chest measurement. Sorry that you're not seeing what I'm doing there, but I'm explaining what I did. Then I'll go ahead and cuff my armhole to that point, and I'll raise that shoulder up by 1 inch, just as you would do in your normal blazer. So that is what I'm connecting right away. I'm sorry that part of it is missing. Okay, when I'm done cuffing the armhole, I will just go ahead and check my chest measurement plus the 2 inches and quarter of my waist measurement plus 2 inches. I'm going to mark it. Then quarter of my hips measurement plus 2 inches. As I explained earlier, I want the front panel to be wider than the back panel. So when I'm done marking, I'll go ahead and connect it with ruler to form my side panel. So sorry that this is not showing up. Okay, so I've connected the sides together, all the markings together to form my side piece. And this is what I have at the end of it all. Please note, there are different methods of achieving this particular style. This is my preference, so if you feel that you can add meaning to yours, go ahead and do that. That is why we are all designers here. Okay, so I moved to the neck depth and marked the neck depth of 3.5 inches. Then I connect it with my curve ruler like so. When I'm done, you can see how the structure of the outfit is coming out already amazing. Okay, when I'm done, I'm going to just quickly fold in the 6 inches like so, and then that is how I will cut it. If you wish, you can insert a slit. If you don't wish, you can do away with it. But if you want to insert a slit, you just quickly mark your slit over like that. So before cutting it, I will just go ahead and mark the back panel at once. In marking the back panel, I am going to mirror the marking. So I'll just draw a straight line here. I hope you understand this method because this is not a regular method. I'm simply going to form a box for the back panel. And how I will go about forming the box is after marking my slit at this point to be perpendicular to the other slit, that is the front slit. So this is evidence that this is going to be my side panel now, because the slit will be facing each other now. As such, I will mark my side panel at this other side while the center back is going to face the other side. So when I'm done with that, I will indicate that my line will start at this 1 inch that I have marked out. So to get it done this way, I will measure my hips allowance with the allowances that I have added, like my side seam allowance and every other thing. Then I will mark the points here plus all the slit allowances and everything. Then I'll mark whatsoever I have here, and I'll take whatsoever I have here to mark up here to form just normal rectangle. So by doing so, I have a straight line that will serve as a guide for my center back markings, and I'm drawing a straight line here. So guys, at this point, if you feel bored and you feel as if you don't understand it, what can easily help you out is just pick up your pattern paper and follow through what I am doing right now. Okay, we move, and at this point I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement. Now take note, the last line there is where I'm placing my tape, and I'll mark it over to this other side. So my marking is definitely going to start from the other side over to this side. So I slope it by 2 inches, and I'm going to indicate my neck width as it was in the front, that is 2.5. Then I'll connect the roller like so, and that will form my shoulder slant. Up next is for me to check my neck depth. You know, this one I'm marking it upward, 1 inch upward. Then after that, I will adjust that shoulder. I will adjust the shoulder to follow the 1 inch that I have marked out here. I hope you understand. Then I'm going to curve my neck depth from this 1 inch, then leaving half of an inch as my shoulder allowance. I hope you are following through. Then I'll curve it out like so. That means the total allowance that I'm leaving for my neck is now 1.5, in which when I'm sewing it at half of an inch, the neck depth will remain 1 inch when I finish joining the shoulder. Okay, so I will indicate my 1 inch from this point to correspond with my front panel, then go in by half of an inch, come out by half of an inch. So this will give me my 1 inch allowance, side seam allowance. Then I'll connect from the other side like so to complete my shoulder line. So that is just the allowance that I'm drawing out. So from this point now, I will now connect it straight to that 1 inch point like this. Okay guys, so we're going to proceed. So after slanting it this way, there's something that you need to know. Like I said earlier, there is a situation that I passed through. You know, I was like whenever I watch a tutorial on suits, I'll become so confused. Then what really helped me out was using my pattern paper in the measurement book. I would draw out the same pattern that I say, replacing it with my own measurement. So that is what really helped me to pick up in how to draft a blazer or any other suit like the safari suit. So at this point, I am done with it. I'm going to check my chest measurement minus 2 inches. Remember, in the front, I added 2 inches, and at the back, I'm going to subtract 2 inches plus my side seam allowance. Don't forget to add your side seam allowance, and whatsoever I had left, that is what I am marking. Always don't forget to take out half of an inch at this point, that's the waistline on the back panel, so as to have this coffee look that follows the back of a human being. You see that the human being in any man's back, you will not see it straight. At least it has to be a little bit curvy, so you need to slant it to this points using your curve ruler. Okay, when I'm done with that, I'll still connect the other side to the hips line to form my back curve. And always blend in any excess you have. Blend it in. Let it be curvy. Do not make it too sharp. If not, it will look somehow on your outfit. Okay, when I'm done, it's just what's remaining now is to connect the waistline. I checked the waist measurement and subtracted my um, side seam allowance, then placed the remaining one, half of it, then I'll mark it out. Then I'll add my side seam allowance of 1 inch here. Then at this point, I'm going to connect it to my hips line like so. Okay, I'm done connecting the shoulder and everything, and I'm going to add half of an inch round as my center back seam allowance. Then I cut. When I'm done cutting, this is what I have for the front and for the back. So I still have to trim off this side because I did not do that. And the neckline, after folding it, I'll cut it out like this. And the shoulder part, I'll trim it off like this. So you can now see how it's coming out very well. And now let's move to another phase. This phase is just going to be the drafting of the design. So to draft the design, you really need to see how you want yours to be. So from this point, I am going to indicate where my curve will stop. So let me just trace it out like this. I think if I should just come from the chest line like so and curve it out towards the side, this would be a perfect one. So let me just see how this is going to work, because I actually don't want the design to get to the shoulder point. So let me just trace it out like this and cross the chest line. Then I'm going to blend it in. And in this other side, I have like 2 inches from the center point. I'm going to mark 2 inches. Then I'll also add my button overlap. If you take 1 inch, it is still okay, it is still fine. But 2 inches from the center front, then I will mark my button overlap like so. Extend it to my chest line, and then I connect it with the other curve. That's the same thing on this side. So this is the curve that I have here. It is very beautiful already. Okay, so this is where my first button will be, and the second one, and the third button will be here, 4 inches apart. And then the fourth button, the fifth one, and the last one is going to be here. And that is approximately at the hips point. Okay, this is already coming out. Now the curve that you see at the downside, so I'm going to mark 2 inches like this. From this point, that's the down part. Let me show you well. From here to here, I'm going to mark 2 inches on this part and 2 inches here, so as to have a perpendicular curve like so. In this curve, I'm going to start from my hips line to curve it out like this. Oh my goodness, you can see how it's coming out already. I'll do the same with this other side, so you can see how it is. So before I cut it, I need to fold in my hemming allowance before I'll go ahead and cut it. Don't trim it off like that without following in your hemming allowance. If not, you'll regret it because everything is going to be shattered. So notice how I'm going to cut it like this, and when I am cutting out the front panel of the other side, I'm going to show you what I'll do. So this is what I have at the end of the day. This is the back panel, and then let us just cut it on the fabric. Then as for the back panel, just cutting it the way it is without giving reference to anything. I folded the fabric into two, then I cut it just the way it is because there is nothing to modify. But when it comes to the front panel, I'll show you what to do. Okay, now on the front panel, I'll still fold my fabric into two, but I'm going to cut the first one. So the first panel, I will also make sure that I locate the right side and the left side. So I'm now folding in this side to be straight like so, because the first one I'm cutting is going to be the right hand side of my fabric, the right hand side of my fabric. So always take note of that, especially when you are cutting it. The right hand side of my fabric, because that is the one that will be inside, while the other side that will overlap is going to be at the left hand side of my fabric. So I'm going to cut just one piece. I'm not cutting the two at once. I'm going to cut only one piece. And when I get to the neck point, I'll open it up, but I'm not going to cut it. I just want to pass that place and then cut it straight down before the cuff. Okay, now that I'm done cutting the other side, I'll raise it up and then I'll open up the pattern and trim it out. I want this design to go out, so I have to fold it back and trim it out here. It's going to be pretty simple if you just follow through the steps, use the video. You cannot just, unless you are truly smart, you cannot just sit down and watch the video in a blow and then you feel that you can understand it. It took me a whole lot of time for me to get how to draft a blazer. So that's the same thing. Any style now, you just have to follow through, technically. So like I said, if you want to make exactly the same thing, just follow through the video as you cut it step by step. Just use any material and practice on it first and you can make it. So after that, I'm just going to continue my cutting of the other parts, just as you can see. And now this other side is the left piece of my front panel. So that is why I open everything up like this and cut it out. So this is what I have for this other side. Then the other smaller piece, I'll still have to cut out another thing. And this is what I have. So thank you guys. I know that you have learned something. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And at the end of the day, this is what you should expect. So thank you very much for staying tuned. Do let me know what you want me to do in this channel. Thank you guys for always being there. Did you know how to draft this pocket? or how to sew it. If you don't know, let me know in the comment section so that I can put it in my plan to make a video on that. So thank you guys. Bye bye for now.